there are many positives that we can take from this chapter of Bleach. Many questions that have now arrived and many questions have been answered. Nonetheless, let's get into this chapter of Bleach. Hello everybody and welcome, it's your boy Shin Megami X, aka your Captain X, here to give you another awesome Bleach chapter review. This is Bleach chapter 556 entitled The WolfBane. Now, I'm going to get into my thoughts about the chapter and what I thought was good about it straight away. I think one of the most impactful part of the chapter was the reveal of Sergeant Komamura taking off his essentially his armor being blown off and revealing his new form. Also seeing the new form of his Bankai. Now, my own thoughts about that, I'm very glad to see the backstory and the origins, well not so much the origins but the backstory, and finding out what happened about Sergeant Komamura's clan and why he looked the way he looked previously to the chapter, you know, him resembling like a kind of dog / wolf, why he took on that appearance. Okay, we now see that basically what has happened to his clan, that was somewhat some kind of a curse, and I thought that was actually quite interesting, so I want to know more about the stories behind that. And he said that, and what I did like, we saw Sergeant Komamura's resolve, is which we've seen in other chapter reviews, which is why, in my opinion, he's one of the most suited to be a captain in the Gote 13. Okay, what I mean by that is, you know, his entire nobility and loyalty to the Shin Megami and all of that business, all that good stuff, which I'm pretty sure you guys clearly understand because we're all fans of Bleach here. Anyways, before I ramble on into something completely irrelevant, let's continue into the chapter. Okay. Another thing that I did like, besides Sergeant Komamura's reveal, I did like the fact that Bambietta actually did land a hit on Shinji, because one thing that annoys me with Bleach and other anime and manga in general is that when the villain or hero has an upper hand or an advantage or has some kind of new power or they developed it, they go and explain the ability to the opponent. Why would you do that? It makes absolutely no sense to explain the ability to the opponent, because it just gives them a chance to acknowledge what's going on and gives them a chance to come up with a strategy. Like Bambietta said, like, oh, this is just a lame parlor trick, which is exactly what Aizen said. So it just goes to show you that Shinji Shikai can be effective, but the fact that he rambles on and tells people exactly what it does makes it ineffective. Sometimes silence is better, sometimes less is more, and sometimes it's better to not let your opponent know anything about your ability. It's better to just deal with them as quick as possible, which we see happens with a lot of anime and manga, and Bleach is no exception. So that's one of the things that I didn't like about the chapter, / did like. I did like how Bambietta basically took him out. No, I don't think Shinji is dead, but I did like how Bambietta took him out with the explosion, basically giving him some kind of reality check, because this happened to you twice now. Fix up your act. Come on, Captain, fix up. Alright, nonetheless, moving on into the chapter now. Another thing that I did like is that we get a more in-depth explanation of how Bambietta's powers work. We can tell that they're not instantaneous blasts, which thank God I am glad for, because that would make her ability extremely haxed. Basically, it'd give no opportunity to dodge. And so now we see Sergeant Komamura displays that there is a slight interval between, you know, her releasing the explosion and it actually being an impact. And what we get a further explanation showing that Bambietta's powers, the way they work, is that in her final hollow form or in her normal form, wherever she fires her reishi into becomes a bomb. So it's literally whatever she fires it at, that becomes a bomb. It's not essentially the reishi as a bomb itself. She turns that into a bomb. And well, that's what I derive from her explanation in this chapter. Okay. Another thing that I did like is, this is what I didn't like. Another thing that I didn't like is when we see, I don't know the name of this lieutenant, for the life of me I can't remember. I'm not about to pause it and go back into the chapter and try and remember her name, because she's one of those irrelevant characters. So, anyways, we see this lieutenant pop out of nowhere saying that, oh, Captain, basically Shinji's been hurt. And, you know, this lieutenant goes in to assist. What I don't understand in Bleach, and what I find pretty ironic, because this is the same thing that Renji did in the case of Byakuya when he fought Asno. If you can see that your captain cannot take out the enemy, what makes you think, as their lieutenant, that you can? Doesn't make much sense, does it? Knowing that you are weaker and less proficient in battle than your captain, knowing that your captain cannot defeat this opponent, what makes you honestly think that you can make a difference? You can't. You're outclassed. Get over it. Move on. Do something useful. Nonetheless, let's move on. Okay. Another thing that I did like about this chapter, and I'm pretty sure I'm reiterating myself here, is the fact that Sergeant Komura actually has a human form. I did like that because now we understand more of his origins, more of his backstory, and I did like that a lot. Because one of the questions that I'm pretty sure we all had in Bleach, like, what is Sergeant Komura? What is his backstory? And now, here's something that confuses me. We all know Shinigami are dead. We all know that they're dead already. They're spirits living in the spirit world, the soul society, whatnot. We all know they're dead and they passed on. Because the way Bleach works, when you die, you either become a hollow or a Shinigami or vice versa. You guys know I'm going with. No need for me to explain that to you. Basics you guys already understand. So let me not insult you guys. Okay, moving on. Where I'm going with this is that, okay, the ritual that had to occur for Sergeant Komura to be able to obtain this more humanoid form, he had to literally gouge out his own heart and put it on a plate for his grandfather. I don't know if his grandfather had to devour that, and then in exchange he said in exchange he will give him the human transformation technique. And also he'll gain immense power. So what confuses me here is that, okay, if Sergeant Komura literally gouged out his own heart, wouldn't that essentially kill him? And we all know that if you die in Bleach, literally you become Reishi, which basically becomes a part of the Soul Society. So yeah, so I want to know how exactly his method is it that he survived, or when he says gouge out your heart, is it physically speaking, or is it just like what's the word? Not hypothetically, figuratively speaking. Does he mean that figuratively or literally? That I don't quite understand, because I'm thinking to myself, if you gouge out your heart, I'm pretty sure you'd bleed out to death. But nonetheless, it does somewhat make sense, because this werewolf transformation that his clan went under was a punishment, and somehow Sergeant Komura has stated that Yamamoto Genro Yusai has aided him or helped him or saved him in some kind of way. So I'm always interested to see why. And he says that basically he wants to avenge Yamamoto Genro Yusai, although I don't think Sergeant Komura has the power to be able to do that, because the person who killed him is none other than Juha himself, and we all know that Juha is Ichigo's to take out. I don't think, as much as I like Sergeant Komura as a captain, or as a character I should say, I don't think he has the power to take out Juha, and I think that's evident to see. Alright, now, what do I think of his new form? I actually somewhat like his new form. He looks quite badass now that the Spartan armor has been literally blown off. It'll be interesting to see what he can do. I'm gonna wonder. He says that he's gained great power, so obviously he has obtained a significant power boost. Now, I wonder, has he gotten faster as well? Because as we see with his Bankai, is it Mokujo Tengen Mio or whatever it's called, but it has a new name, and it has a new form, it has a new look as well. But we can see that what it looks like now is that the armor that was once encasing it has been removed. So I believe that we all know that Sergeant Komura's Bankai is very interlinked with him, and we all know that he used to wear like kind of a lot of armor and stuff. So I'm wondering, does the Bankai reflect also the appearance of Sergeant Komura? Now that he's gone back to his humanoid form, it seems like this Bankai has taken more of a demon approach. So I'm wondering, okay, it's obviously gained significant power, but is it now quicker? Because one of the problems with that Bankai was that yes, it has incredible power, but it was too slow to be able to hit most opponents. That was the problem with it, and we can see that from this chapter and previous chapters that Bambietta is not slow. We've even seen her dodge one of Sergeant Komura's attacks in this chapter alone. So my question is this: yes, he may have the power to overpower her, but does he have the power to actually hit her? And another anime that gave a perfect example of this is when was Dragon Ball Z. And I know I spoke about Dragon Ball Z in my last chapter review, but this is just so you can understand an analogy that I'm making out. Is that Cell said it when he's fighting Super Trunks, that okay, you may have the power to destroy me, but if you don't have the speed to hit me, that power is useless. And Goku explained that when he was training against Gohan. And this is a perfect example of what's going to happen here. Is that yes, Sergeant Komura may have the power, but does he have the speed to actually land a hit? Do you understand where I'm coming from? So anyways guys, overall, I thought this was a pretty amazing chapter of Bleach. Another thing that I liked as well is that, well, it kind of creeped me out a little bit, is that we see how crazy, psychotic and sadistic Bambietta is, because we see that one panel which I'm going to put on the screen sometime around about now, where she looks absolutely insane. I'm like, oh fuck, we gotta have a crazy bitch up in here. So yeah, it also further illustrates the fact that she has a few screws loose, and that why the other Star Knights, her little clique of a little posse said that, out of all the Star Knights, she is the one that should not have a final holy form, simply because she has a few screws loose. But nonetheless guys, it's your boy Shimigami X, aka Captain X. I'm signing out, and as always my people, take care, peace, have an awesome day, you're dismissed. Peace.